Right, we are back. A lot of people have been asking me what I'm going to be playing this league. I will be playing Blade Vortex Elementalist. That is not what this video is about. It'll be about Wretched Defilers, but for those that are curious, this is what I'll be playing. I was looking at it last league, and I almost played a last league. I thought it was going to be insane, but I was just having so much fun with the Wretched Defilers build that I wasn't ready to swap out quite yet. But yeah, for those curious, this is what I'll be playing. I don't think I'm going to post a POB. I don't think it's that strong, to be honest. I think it's pretty mid, but I just love Blade Vortex, and I actually see a path into league starting it with the Elementalist changes to Golems, so that is what I will be doing. All right, but as far as Wretched Defilers go, it is absolutely still viable, this league. Some people have said that since you're losing the Mercenary, you can't play it. I assure you that's not the case. I was playing this back in Freshia. I was playing it in 3.27. I almost prefer it without the Mercenary, honestly. I kind of like prefer self-wearing the Dorianis because the clear's a little bit more smooth. The enemies get that negative lightning resist the moment you get to them versus you having to wait for your Mercenary to move around or reposition him. But last league, all this is self-worn Dorianis all the way up until, I don't know, the last few streams here. But I pretty much always put a POB, the current POB, on whatever day I'm on. The league start was a bit rough because of the disconnect issues. I didn't get started for like a few hours, and then I had a pretty slow campaign time. In general, you can do like a 4-hour campaign time if you're really fast. I've done it before, but I'm generally more around the 5-hour area. You got to really be moving for 4 hours. But I'm also not like a speed campaign runner. Um, you might be able to go 3 hours if you're crazy at it. But on day two, I'm in tier 17s. It's kind of one of the benefits to this build is you're just very, very tanky and you have great damage. I will say these tier 17s are rough on day one, or I'm sorry, on day two. But as you can see, I'm doing strong boxes. One of the benefits to getting in on day two as quickly as I do is the containment scarab is like 30, 40 chaos. And then slowly throughout day two, it'll move up to like, 60 or so. But it's really, really cheap on day two, as well as the tier 17s. Most builds can't run them. So you can pick them up for sometimes 20, 30 chaos. And you can just make an absolute killing in these. But the boss itself is pretty tough on day two until you get the helmet from the Ziggurat boss. It's the name of its slipping my mind like right now, but the whole reason we're in Ziggurats is to farm that helmet because once you get the helmet, the build completely takes off. Wraithlord is the name of it. And then, but yeah, you can start farming much easier once you get this Wraithlord. I have the POBs here. There's kind of a lot going on here. I was just throwing some stuff together that I thought would work, but this is what I ended up clearing the tier 17 with um, not much going on. Let's take a look at the POB real quick. I change it all the time, so I'm not even sure which one I use, to be honest. Okay, I went this route. Um, Kind of a lot to path down through here. I do like this just for the endurance charges and the extra block. It looks like, yeah, we get 70 and 75% block by going down here, as well as the endurance charges. I take the extra duration just because you only have a 25% chance to gain one when you're hit. But with just this, a Bitter Dream, looks like I went Darkness Enthroned. Um, with some pretty bare jewels. This one's actually pretty nice. And this one is completely trash. But you'll want to be keeping these increased damage on your active search starting from like day one. I have these on active search right away, as well as some other things I'll go into here in a sec. But yeah, I guess a Darkness Enthroned and a Bitter Dream is all I had. Amulet's complete trash. I should have gotten like a +1 skills amulet here. I usually get a +2 minion. Okay, I get a +2 minion skill gems. You can kind of browse through and take a look at it. This stuff is very attainable on day two. If I remember right, I start with blight just to get a little bit of extra currency to get the basic items to get into tier 17. And as soon as I have a couple core items, I go straight in. Um, yeah, so I run some blight. It's not going to pay you a ton. You'll get like a few divines, but that's really all you need to get the basic gear to get into tier 17s to start farming that Wraithlord. As far as campaign goes, it looks like POB from the 4-hour run. This is my 4-hour run, the POB I used for that. So if you need a campaign build, you'll use that. Uh, and then let's take a look at what you need to swap over to Doriani's. All right, so while I'm playing through, starting from day one, I have all of these things on active search at all times. Later on, I'll add the timeless jewel, but you need to pick up the Eyes of the Great Wolf to swap. I mean, we'll take a look at what you need to swap. You need a minus lightning res ring, two of them, Eyes of the Great Wolf and Doriani's. That's all you need for the Wretched Defiler swap. But this is what I always have on active search. You can usually pick these up like day one for pretty cheap. There's not a ton of competition for them, or at least there hasn't been the last few leagues I've played. Minions are aggressive one. You can worry about that a little bit later. You also don't have to get minions are aggressive. I just really prefer it. It makes the build a lot smoother to play, but you generally lose a little bit of minion damage by not going with the minion damage fracture wand. But I think it's well worth having them aggressive personally. The Doriani's +2. You need the Doriani's to get going, but you do not need the +2. This is kind of hit or miss. Sometimes I've picked it up for like 40 chaos, just kind of sniping it. Other times it costs a handful of divines. They're not too bad to get your hands on, but they are a little rare early league. But you don't need the +2. It's just a lot of power level if you can get it. But you do need at least a basic Doriani's to get up and going. And then as far as the Eyes of the Great Wolf, you're looking for any generic one as your first one, just so you can make the initial swap. But Global Defenses is by far your best. Aside from that, there's a Fizz Reduction one, I believe, and then there's also a Life Regen one, which is pretty decent. I've done a life regen setup, which felt very good. Oh shit. Life regen setup where you're running Zealot's Oath, and then you can even take in some of this regen here and some other regen and put regen on your items, and you can get up to like 1500 to 2000 regen. It feels very good. But let's get a little more complex. I think if you follow this, you're going to be in an okay spot. But there are some other ways you can make the tier 17 fight a lot easier by going heavy regen. As far as the Eyes of the Great Wolf goes, you're just looking to have an active search like this: cold, lightning, cold damage from hits. Lightning damage from hits taken is cold, and then implicit, light, fire. Same thing for fire. Count 1, and then make sure you select unique. My mistake. And you're looking to just take whatever cheap one comes up right away, right? It doesn't really matter what the other one is on a day one situation, or sorry, probably more like day 2, day 3 situation is when you'll actually be able to get one of these. And then just go ahead and leave the active search up, and you can actually set all these up now. Control copy and just throw them in a notepad, and whenever the league starts, you'll have all your active searches ready. It should auto-populate to the new league, even though it says mercenaries here. It should put you on the new one, but if it doesn't, just go ahead and select the new league. But I'm pretty sure it auto-puts you on there. All right, as far as progression goes, I keep bringing you back to this live page just because all the information is here. I'm like posting POBs throughout the entire league. So let's take a look. At this stage, we're day 5. Somebody in chat had told me about the Abyss strategy, and I decided to add the new Risk Scarabs, which created a whole meta because it was insanely strong and everyone started doing it. But because of it, I had tons of currency. I pick up the Light of Meaning. You can get this for like 5 divine early league. It's way cheaper compared to late league when it shoots up to like 80 to 100 divine. Aside from that, we're going to be looking for the Melding of the Flesh, and then I switch out to the Rise of the Phoenix Shield to get 86% all res when my ruby flask is up, or 81% when it's down. In that video I'm showing here, this is a build guide. On day 5, I'm running 14 mod. What is it? 12 mod? 12 mod. Sometimes 14 mod. I think I was experimenting with triple risk, but I can't remember. It was definitely 12 mod. As you can see, there's a shit ton of mods on the map. Pre-mage blood, maybe 40 or 50 divines in the build, and we're just absolutely dominating this content. It was still a little spotty pre-mage blood. These maps are, depending on the combinations, they're crazy challenging. They won't be this league because everything's nerfed into the gutter and the league is looking a little rough, to be honest. But I guess it all depends on how the breach mechanic goes, but anyways, um, it's it's very strong. Um, so yeah, we'll do the melting of the flesh for the minus lightning res as well as the max res, and then we'll be looking to get clusters. I think I missed my fractures. I missed fractures, which that's going to happen. Sorry, I know this video is a little all over the place, and I'm not doing a great job at explaining it. But part of the reason is I've already done it like for a few leagues. So all the information is already there. You just have to go dig a little bit. But I mostly wanted to put this up as kind of a refresher and just like a soft strategy for how you can league start this, as well as posting a video that's current. That if anyone has any questions about it, they can post in the comments, and I'm pretty good about responding to any questions people have. So um, this is the full Wretched's Defiler's build guide. The only change is we're wearing the Dorianis now, and we're going to be wearing the minus lightning res rings. Everything else is the exact same. Um, as far as oh yeah, no, I mean that's all there is to it. Everything else about the build is the same. There's no changes to it at all. It's going to still be very strong. I consider it an S tier build, not necessarily because it scales higher than a lot of other S tier builds, but because of the power level you get for the price that you put into it is absurd in my opinion. It's incredibly tanky. It does insane damage, and it costs. If you can get everything up and running like the first 2 weeks, it's going to cost you like one mirror, which for a lot of people I understand may be a lot. But when you compare the power level that you get out of that one mirror to other builds, it's absurd. Um, so yeah, if I didn't cover anything, I know it's kind of a quick sloppy overview, but if I didn't cover anything, please feel free to ask questions. That's mostly what I'm putting this out for, is so the comment section can ask me whatever they need. But that's where we're at. All right, good luck with your League Star, boys.